Good morning and welcome to math. I know you're asking yourself, Mr. McCardle, why are you wearing sunglasses while you're inside? The answer to that is because math is so cool. In fact, I'm going to flip up my collar while I'm wearing it. Now I'm super cool. Plus, we have to know what the difference is between our videos, so I'm wearing these so that we can tell. All right, so you guys are going to start something. You're going to start chapter 5 today. You have made it through about half of the math that we are going to learn throughout kindergarten. You're doing a great job so far. Today we're going to start talking about equality. No, not universal equality for everybody, although that will come up before you get through school. Today we're going to talk about the idea of balance and equations and how they work. We're going to start working with those ideas. So the way we do that, we're going to start off with our regular book. Go ahead and get this book out. You got a page that you're going to work on after we do our lesson. And the page is going to be page 69. It's got a little pink elephant on it, and it looks like this. There's a bunch of different pages in your book that kind of look like this, so make sure that you have the pink elephant on the bottom and page 69 at the bottom when you're pulling it out. And it says, equality, introducing the idea of balance. The idea of balance, which is kind of what equations are. It's all about balancing. But balancing numbers instead of balancing on a beam. All right, I'm going to pause you right there, and then I'll come back to get all my stuff ready, and then we'll get into the lesson. All right, so today, I still have my sunglasses on, still looking super cool, still doing some cool math. We're going to be talking about equality as far as math goes, and we're going to do a little bit of talking about something that's going to be coming your way a little bit, which is called an equals sign. So maybe you've seen something along the lines of this little thing, two lines, one on top of the other. This is our equals sign. We're building up to understanding exactly what the equals sign means. Sometimes you'll see this in all kinds of different equations while we're working on math. So we're going to use a little one of our tools to kind of help us figure out what the equals sign means, to start building that knowledge, and that is our pan balance. Our pan balance is another thing. We have worked with this with our measurement and our weight and our mass and stuff like that, but it also helps us try to figure out exactly what's going on with our equations. So how our pan balance works, just to remind you, is when we put a thing in our pan balance, I'm going to put it over here in this yellow side, it makes it go down. So it starts off, both of these pans are level or equal. They're right on top, or right in the same spot. But if I put some stuff over here in this one, that side goes straight down. That means that this side over here is heavier. Right now, our two pans, this is a pan, are not equal. They're not in balance, okay? Because there's more stuff in here like this. So if I was going to pretend to be a pan balance, let's look at me real quick. Let's say I have a couple different things. Right now, if I'm a pan balance, so these are my two little buckets. They're the same. They're equal, right? Not one of them going down like this, one of them going down like this. But if I put things in those, it'll be a little bit different. So let's say one of our things is going to be this gigantic block, or box full of blocks, right? I'm going to put this on one side over here, and one of them is just one little itty bitty shoe right over here. So if I put these out like this one is way heavier, so it's making me go all the way down to the ground and giving me a really good workout on my awesome, awesome bicep. So this little light one right here goes way up. If I want to make these balance, I'd have to do some shifting around to make them the same on both sides. We're going to play around with our little pan balance here, and then we're going to do some lessons with it. So we're going to do some thinking about how we can try to keep these things from one being too full or the other, okay? So one way we can do that is we can start looking at how many things we put into these things. And I just want to kind of show you other things or other objects that we might be able to put on this pan balance to try to figure out if we can get them to match up. And one of those things is going to be my stinky shoe. Okay, so right now we have nothing on those, so those are the same. I'm going to throw down my shoe right here. That one went straight down to the ground. This is now touching the desk. This one is way up in the air. So this side of the pan balance has more stuff on it. It's got this heavy shoe, and there's nothing on this side over here. What can we put on here to maybe get them to balance out? Well, I'm going to try a book. So right now we can kind of talk about these two things. We now know that this shoe is heavier than this book because the book's pan did not go down when I put it on it. We know the shoe is heavier than the book, but if we talk about it from the book's point of view, we could say the book is lighter than the shoe. So right now they are definitely not equal. They are not the same. One of them is way down here, one of them is way up here. I've got another book. Let's see if that makes it any different. Ah, look at that. So our two books, we added two books together, and when we put those two books together on this side, that made the pan balance go like this. And right now they are straight across from each other. So we can talk about these things. We now know that my one stinky shoe is equal to two books put together. So we have added these two books together. We have put them with on the other side of the pan balance, and they made the balance equal out. We can also talk about it from the book side. We can say two books are equal to one shoe. So when we're talking about that equal side, we just kind of look about how many things do we need to make these the same? Like if we put these on a scale and weighed them, these two books would weigh the exact same as this shoe. So we're going to be looking at a couple problems in our book. We're going to be thinking about some numbers that we could do this with, okay? So I've got some problems that we can kind of work our way through. And I've got little cubes that we can kind of do that with. I'll just put my little stinky shoe away. So what I want to do is I want to take a look at these things right here, and I want to see if we can make them equal out. So I have two different colors right here, and I want to think about putting them in one of these pan balances, okay? So first I'm going to count them so I know how many I have. And I'll count them by the different colors too. So how many red ones do I have? How many blue ones do I have? Red ones I've got 1, 2, 3. So this is showing me 3 red cubes. And I've got 1, 2 blue cubes. So right now I'm going to put them in this pan balance. I know that I have 3 red cubes and 2 blue cubes. But I also know that if I count all these, they're going to go together and make a different number. So let's put them all in our little thing here. Remember that we have 3 red ones. 3 red, 2 blue. So right now I put 3 plus 2 together. I've added those together, and all together I have a certain amount of cubes. And now I'm going to add cubes to the other side of a completely different color. There's nothing in there right now. We're going to use, I should have purple because blue and red make purple, but I don't have that. We're going to use green. We're going to add them until it equals out, until this pan balance goes from this, right now it's like this, to right here. And then I'm going to make sure that it gets to this spot. And right now I want you to kind of think about how many do you think we might need to put here. But before I do that, I'm going to write down these numbers that we had. So for our red cubes, we had 3 red cubes. We had 2 blue cubes. And I'm going to put this little equal sign that we're going to start thinking about, okay? We put these together, and this is a little sign that means put them together. And we're going to see how many we need to put on this side to make them balance out or equals each other, okay? So I'm going to add them one at a time. 1, 2, 3. Oh, starting to dance a little bit. 4, definitely starting to move. Not equal. One of these is still bigger. 5. And now it is equal. So right now I've got 5 in this side. We've had 3 red ones plus 2 blue ones over here, which means if we pull them out, we can look at them in a different way. I'm gonna pull them out and put them by their numbers. There's those. I'm gonna pull out my green ones and put them over here. And then I'm gonna count those green ones again to see which one number I'm missing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know that 5 looks like this, I believe. I'm making it upside down and backwards, so maybe you kids could tell me if it's the right way. So 5 was equal to or balanced out with 3 red cubes plus 2 blue cubes. If I put all these together and count them as one thing, instead of thinking of them as red and blue, I'll just think of them as cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I needed 5 cubes over here, even though some of them were red and some of them were blue, to equal 5 cubes over here. So 3 plus 2 equaled 5 on that one. We can try some other numbers too. All right, let's look at, we're going to use 4 orange cubes and 3 red cubes, okay, equals, and then we're going to think about how many blue cubes that might make out. I want to know how many cubes we're going to need to make this equal out. So first I'm going to start thinking about these as far as numbers in my brain, like what the numbers might look like. So I've got 1, 2, 3 red cubes. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 orange cubes. And my question for myself is, how many cubes do I need to make these things equal or the same on both sides? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take all these guys together and why don't you guys make a guess as to how many you think are going to need to go in here to make that the same? I'm going to put all of these into one side, and then I'm going to need to figure out how many I need to make this balance out or equal. So here we go. We got all of those cubes in. I didn't even count them. I just put them in. We're going to see how many we're going to do a little experiment. You don't have this thing, the pan balance at home. But maybe you can start thinking about how these two numbers go together, or all these numbers go together. And I'm going to put my little equal sign here because this tells me that I know that I need to have the same amount of cubes over here as I do over here. So I'm going to add them. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, starting to dance now. 5, still dancing. 6, and it definitely moved right there. And there it is. That 7th one did it. I put 7 blue cubes over here to make those things equal out or balance. So now let's pull them out, and we want to see if we have the same amount of cubes on each side, because that's what makes it an equation. An equation means they're equal on both sides. So let's pull them back out. So there's my 3 red cubes, 4 orange cubes, and then on this side we have this many blue cubes, okay? Those should be the same. My marker is a million years away from me, so let me go grab it. So I'm going to count these and just make sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 over here.
The other side.
The other side. So 7 cubes over here. And over here, we just want to double check and make sure we have 7. Let's count them all together to make sure. I'm going to add my little plus sign right here. That just means we're putting them all together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I have 7 over here, 7 over here. That's what you're going to be doing on your homework today. Come on in, I'll show you the page that we're working on. So today on your homework, it involves some of these little scales or balances, and they're going to look like this. And I don't have a marker. I got this one. So I can point to stuff with this. So you're going to look at this. This is the middle part of our little balance, kind of like this thing that we were working with. And you're going to count this side. Here's one side of it, and here's the other side. And you're going to try to figure out how to balance them. I keep saying equals, and I say the same. Balance is another word for that. We want them to be the same on both sides. So we're going to count these purple ones plus our orange ones on this one. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3 purple ones. Write my number 3 right there. And count my orange ones. 1 orange. And put my number 1 right there. And then this word balances, they're going to look for how many we need on this side to make the same thing over here. So when I put 3 and 1 together, I count them all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. I have 4 on this side, and if I want them to balance, I'm going to need the same thing over here. So I'm going to need 4 over here. So I would draw 1, 2, 3, 4 circles over there. When you get down to this page, or this one right here, I want you to count blue ones and put the number in it for how many blue ones there are right here. I want you to count the, I guess this is red, reddish purple. I'm going to count all these, and I want you to put the number for that right in there. How many purplish red ones we have, and magenta or whatever right in here. And then I want you to count them all together, and that'll tell you how many balls you need to draw right here. Draw your blue ones and your purple ones over here together, and then count them, and that'll give you the number for right here. So fill in that page, try to make those things balance out, try to make it so that there are the same amount of balls on this side as there are on that side, and that'll tell you how to add these two numbers together. So that's our work for today. Tomorrow we're going to do a little bit more. It's just in a different, it just looks a little bit different, so we'll still be talking about equality and the equal sign, balancing things out tomorrow. Great work today. Take those pictures of that page, send them to your teacher with a nice word. Say, hey, teacher, we miss you. That way they all know that you are, if you do. And we'll see you for the next lesson. Bye.